Hi there and welcome to Economic Observations. My name is Chris. Today is the 13th of May and thank you so much for watching. This video is brought to you by the Tanzania School Foundation, a nonprofit doing wonderful work in Tanzania, eradicating poverty through education. Let's get started, but before we do, if you wouldn't mind hitting that like button and subscribing to this channel, I would greatly appreciate it. Whew, where do I begin? Roller coaster on Wall Street. Crypto's down below 30,000. Actually, they were down $25,000 yesterday. Today, they're at 29 and change, but still a big drop from where they had once been, and it all relates to this death spiral by this stable coin that wasn't so stable after all. If you bought Bitcoin or any of the other cryptos at an all-time high, well, I would not just necessarily cut your losses now. Just hang on to it for a little while. I mean, you lost a lot, but you could lose more, but who knows? It might bounce back one day. Long term, long term, long term, right? That's what they tell us. So much going on in the world. Finland wants to join NATO, and so does Sweden. They're going to make a decision on Sunday. But Putin is warning if they do, they are going to have to retaliate in some way. Finland shares 800 miles of border with Russia, and Putin doesn't like this too much. So it is something to look out for because anything can happen. How he's going to retaliate is anyone's guess. Maybe more tanks and missiles are going to go into another neighboring country. There's shit going on in the world, so just take a look. Just keep your eyes on that. Also, baby formula, can't find it. Abbott manufacturing plant had some contamination. It wiped out loads and loads of baby formula, and if you have a baby running around to 5 or 6 stores before you can find it, well, bless your soul. I don't know what's going to happen in that space, but it's something also to look out for. And not only are we short on baby formula, but apparently on the East Coast we are running out of diesel. We normally have 62 million barrels of diesel in stock or storage in May. This May we only have 52 million barrels. And why is that? Well, some might say that we are shipping a lot of gasoline and diesel over to Europe, and also the price of it is so prohibitive, and if there's a shortage, that price will only go higher. Some people predict that it might even go to $10 a gallon. $10 a gallon for diesel. And you might be saying, well, I don't drive a diesel truck, so it doesn't matter to me. But yes, it does matter to you, because everything is shipped and transported with a truck, and all trucks use diesel, from department stores to supermarkets and to, well, yes, your gasoline too, is delivered by a truck to fill that gas station, and thus making the price of your gas even higher, and then the price of everything in the supermarket even higher. Something to look out for, because this is scary. You might say I live on the West Coast, so it doesn't affect me, but it will affect you too. It's going to affect all of us. And if the price of this fuel doesn't come down, well, we're all in for a real hard time. It's just going to happen. They're going to raise interest rates and try to rein in inflation, but this is beyond the Fed's ability at this point. This is still supply and demand, and supply is getting things from here to there, and it's all expensive because of this ever-growing war in Russia and Ukraine. And I can't see any interest rates, even if we were at 10%, it's not going to rein in these gas prices when we have that problem in the world over there. We also have a wheat problem and a food problem because Ukraine and Russia produce so much wheat. And we also have the palm oil problem in Indonesia, and they are not exporting it. And this all creates higher prices for us beyond the Fed's reach. Gonna come to a head, but those staples that we rely on others for are not going to come down with the highest interest rates you can imagine. It's beyond the scope of anybody. These are global challenges. My friends call me and they don't even say, "Hey Chris, how you doing?" anymore. They call me and say, "Hey Chris, have you gone to the supermarket lately? Eggs, $6 a dozen? Filling up their gas tanks is $70? And that's for just a regular car? And everyone should always have a full tank of gas. If you get to half, fill it up again. Because with this diesel problem, you might not get gas. What happens when diesel is $10 a gallon? And some people are speculating that it might. And forget Coinbase. If they go bankrupt, they're warning their people that hold cryptos in their wallets that, well, you might not have it. We go through litigation first and you get whatever's left over. Apparently, Russia occupied territories of Ukraine. They are stealing grain. Yes, 400,000 tons are sailing through the Mediterranean, probably en route to Syria. A lot of countries refuse to buy this stolen grain because it is stolen. Most of that grain goes to the developing nations. That's who gets a lot of this grain. And the most likely destination of this cargo is in Syria, and then the grain could be smuggled from there to other countries in the Middle East. More about food. All right, so we have that issue in Russia and Ukraine, and Russia stealing grain and trying to sell it anywhere they could. We have farmers in the United States that have spent their entire profit from last year on fertilizer. Fertilizer has gone up tremendously. Read an article about one in Arizona. He grows corn. And when we think of corn, we think of the corn we eat. But it's not only the corn for human consumption. Corn feeds cows and chickens and livestock all around the country. And if he is raising his prices on his maize, what is that going to do to the price of already expensive meat? This is a huge cycle, but the fertilizer costs are also exaggerated from this Russia invasion of Ukraine. Fertilizer in many countries, especially in developing countries, is unobtainable right now. The cost is just prohibitive. So if you have a farmer in Arizona complaining that 100%, all his profits from last year went into buying fertilizer, what is that going to do to the prices of not only the corn we eat, but the cows that we eat, because they eat this corn? It is a big cycle, and it is not one that is going to be fixed with the Fed raising interest rates. I don't see inflation going away anytime soon. Sure, maybe the stock market will come down, maybe housing will come down, the price of cars will come down. It'll be more expensive for us to borrow money. But our staples, from energy to food, the very things we need to survive, are not coming down anytime soon. So be prepared. I mean, you can grow a garden, but you're very unlikely to be able to sustain yourself on that garden. Maybe you can start hunting and getting your own meat. Plant some fruit trees. They might not produce apples or pears or oranges, depending upon where you live this year, but they might in a couple of years. I'm not here to scare you. I'm just here to prepare you. Just be knowledgeable in what's going on. Interest rates can go to the moon, and so could the prices of all of the things that I mentioned. And there's a lot to follow, and I didn't even cover 100th of it. Be aware out there. Read lots of different articles from all over the world. Don't get one side. Try to get the whole big picture. Because there is a lot of stuff going on. The heck with the debt and the housing and the stock market and whatever else. We're going to have bigger problems than that. That's all I got. Have a wonderful evening. Thank you so much for watching. As always, I really appreciate you. I don't make a lot of money on these YouTube channels. There are links in the description. If you'd like to buy me a coffee, I'd really appreciate it. Have a great night, and we'll talk again real soon. Oh, and by the way, look what I got. A 17-page letter from Melissa. My longtime followers all know about Melissa. She shared with me her testimony, her story. She's 6 months in recovery. I'm proud of her. But I know she has a long way to go. All right. God bless you all. Thank you so much. And thanks for watching.